Welcome to the March 2026 Intelligence Briefing. The global security architectures relied upon since January are fragmenting under a series of compounding systemic crises. We are monitoring a convergence across three specific sectors: the disruption of global energy chokepoints, the closure of allied European airspace, and the localized failure of state-level protection. This intersection of physical and geopolitical volatility requires an immediate reassessment of all corporate operational risk baselines. This tactical map shows the current impact of the Strait of Hormuz closure. The blockade has stranded 2,000 commercial vessels and removed 21 million barrels of oil per day from the global market. To prevent a global energy collapse, the U.S. Treasury issued General License U. This emergency waiver is currently rerouting 3 million tons of Russian and Iranian fuel to Southeast Asia and China. At the same time, the NATO alliance is facing internal friction. Spain has banned U.S. combat aircraft from its sovereign airspace and denied use of the Rota and Moran military bases for Middle East operations. Energy security is now taking precedence over traditional geopolitical alliances. This shift is disrupting military logistics across Europe and challenging long-standing corporate supply chain assumptions. The physical threat surface is expanding. This map tracks over 300 attacks on U.S. facilities worldwide, following the State Department's recent worldwide caution advisory. Even Tier 1 diplomatic compounds are being breached. In Tokyo, a trained military officer carrying a knife bypassed host nation security cordons to trespass onto the grounds of the Chinese embassy. Domestic threats are following a similar pattern of kinetic escalation. In Los Angeles, a suspect drove across state lines to fire a semi-automatic rifle into the inhabited estate of musician Rihanna during daylight hours. Adversaries are increasingly moving away from generalized institutional targets. Instead, they are using private intelligence to execute focused attacks on individual executives and their families at their residences. These incidents indicate that relying solely on state law enforcement or traditional perimeter detection now represents an unacceptable risk for high-profile protection. These macro shifts have created immediate operational traps. While General License U eases energy supply, it creates a compliance minefield for corporations that will face prosecution the moment the waiver expires. In conflict zones, the concept of neutral immunity is no longer being respected. 118 UN staff members are currently detained globally, with 73 held by Houthi authorities in Yemen. Contrast this with the release of American Dennis Coyle from Taliban custody. His extraction was secured not through U.S. leverage, but through back-channel mediation by the UAE and Qatar. With state diplomatic power under strain, organizational survival now depends on private proxy negotiators and the rapid deployment of localized response protocols. Our assessment is clear. Systemic breakdowns are occurring simultaneously across allied infrastructure, energy markets, and traditional protective methodologies. Corporate security postures built in January no longer align with this operating environment. To adapt your strategy to these converging risks, subscribe to the Circuit Magazine's strategic briefings at circuit.magazine.com.